Hey everybody, how's it doing? It's Joe. Welcome back to another episode of the Inside Our Phillies podcast. It is currently the 14th of January, and the free agency situation is getting a little bit more complex, but also a little bit more solved. Ranger Suarez signed a deal with the Red Sox. Alex Bregman signed a deal. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, and here to talk about it all, we have Jeremy. How are you today, Jeremy?
Fighting a cold, but I'm here.
We appreciate it. Your performance review is going to look good this year because of that. So yeah, we appreciate you toughing it out. Um, let's get right into Ranger Suarez because I think that this is kind of like the topic of the day, and I think that this kind of surprised a lot of people. I don't know about you, but like literally like a couple days ago, I was like, nobody's talked about Ranger Suarez this entire postseason, this entire offseason. And then it changed.
No, there was like no. There was like a couple weeks ago, like the Orioles were talking to him. That was reported.
Okay, that's fair. I might have completely missed it then. I don't think I've heard about that at all. So thank you for correcting me there. But anyways, did it surprise you that Ranger Suarez signed that 5-year, $130 million contract with the Red Sox?
Oh, yes, for a multitude of reasons. One, he's like we can all agree, no matter how good he's been in the postseason, he's the number 3 starter at best. Just he has the potential to be really good, but he's with injuries and then just a little like consistency second half. He's not been able to put together a full season of dominance. And plus the stuff doesn't really like blend to being dominant. But just an almost 30 million. I don't know how to evaluate pitchers anymore. He's like so that's just insane amount.
Is it crazier to you than the 7-year, $210 million that Dylan Cease signed for?
No. Dylan Cease has a stuff. Let me pull it. And they're the same age. Interesting. Yeah, Dylan Cease has a stuff. He's never been like super injured, from my understanding, and so his stuff just plays better in the like type of contract. Like, how much is he making now per year?
30 million for Cease, 26 for
Yeah,
Suarez.
yeah. I'm looking at like like I don't know how to read this stupid like defer all this stuff on
The Phillies make it easy because they don't believe in deferred contracts. You can just divide the dollar count by the number of years, and that's all you have to do for Phillies contract math. They don't do any of that
yeah.
deferral stuff.
I mean, yeah. It's just yeah. If you're gonna go over the text, go over the text.
So Ranger Suarez, kind of looking at his baseball reference page, I'm gonna throw out 21 and before because he wasn't really a starting pitcher until kind of like the back half of 21, and I'm just gonna make it easy and look at all of the years in which he was a full-time starter. You look at his per year stats. He's averaged 3 WAR every single season. Has a 3.59 ERA across 147 innings. A 357 FIP. So like it probably sounds roughly fair to pay for $26 million and get 3 WAR in exchange. But I think what kind of has a lot of people questioning this, and maybe you can tell me if you agree or disagree, is like the velocity problems with Ranger Suarez and him struggling to hit 90 miles an hour at points over the last couple years. I think it would scare a lot of people off of that 5-year contract that the Red Sox gave him.
Yeah, that's his fastball velocity is 7%. That's pretty. It's not going to get better, and it's just the way things also work. Back injuries just don't get better.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I
so when
think
it was so you go with the diminishing velocity. His back is bad. He's a bad back. With bad back, make it hard to make it for you. Repeat your delivery. If you don't have velocity to make up for it, they're going to sit on the off speed stuff. And it's just even if when it's not even his stuff doesn't hang when he's bad because his back. His stuff just misses. He can't throw strikes.
Right.
So yeah. So like it could be a really good deal, but also this could be like it could be a disaster. It's just Yeah, I feel like if he was like a year younger, it would make more sense. The fact that he's just 30 and just like back to back freaking like 3 years in a row of just back injuries, that's just ugh.
It's a scary contract, but I guess what contract these days isn't scary? Like I feel like the dollar amounts that these contracts are at now has kind of increased at such a rapid rate that like every single one for a moment has me like, oh my god, what are they doing? But if he has a good first couple years, then obviously they'll be happy with it. But what are you going to remember about Ranger Suarez as a Philly? Is there anything that's gonna like stick out to you from his time?
Oh yeah, his 2022 postseason was just awesome.
Right? He'll always be the guy that got us to the World Series for the first time in a long time.
Well, yeah, came out of the bullpen on the short rest and it's just dud, and then like I know it's not as the same as oh they left Kimbrel in the bullpen. They left uh what's his uh what's his face from the Orioles closer. Uh, Hold on.
Are you talking 2022?
No, I'm talking about Zach Britton being left to the bullpen in the postseason. So I'm just saying, like, you're
Oh,
both saying,
sure.
like, for us, for me, it's just going to be at least for a little bit. Is why didn't we use Ranger in the bullpen this year? It's going to stick with. It's like not as big as those things, but it's just like ah,
Yeah.
that's the second. That's it. I'm going to be telling my kids in the future, like God, yeah, in 2025 we might have won because we would have knocked out the Dodgers if we would have freaking just used Ranger.
But I mean, I think at this point most people are with you. Like they used him in a completely ridiculous way in the postseason. What's going to stand out to me
Oh no no
with
no no
Rangers?
no! They didn't use him in a ridiculous way. They just said one thing and then didn't do it whenever it was like on board with the plan.
Oh, right, but you could have easily thrown him in game one or something like that, and he would have been able to pitch in just the same schedule, and it wouldn't have cost them anything, right?
I
That's
know,
that's
I know, I know. It's insane. He didn't start any game in that series at Nola. It just the whole idea was to backfill. That oh my god, I forgot that was what happened. Oh my god, even
right.
more
It
stupidity.
was it was the lack of usage, I think, that frustrated
Yeah,
people so much.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
though he did ball out in game 4.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
that
5 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, a home run, and the like he was fine. Like he wasn't the problem.
no. But what's going to stick out to me with Ranger Suarez for a long time is that 2021. Like the 2021 season that Ranger Suarez had is
Oh
one that
yeah,
that is just crazy, right? Here's a guy that originally was the piggyback for Spencer Howard, back when Spencer Howard was a big prospect. Like how was that 5 years ago now? Crazy how that time happened. But Spencer Howard would get tired in like the third or fourth inning. For people that aren't familiar, he would either
just
have to
fascinating. Fascinating. I've never seen a guy throw 96 and then 90 not be hurt.
he would get tired like running to first base, like running out a ground ball because that was when pitchers hit, bring it back, or he would get tired having to like field the ball, or he put up all these crazy excuses. I think there was one time he said he ate like pasta before a game, and that made him too tired to pitch past the third inning. I don't know. He was very clearly one of the pitchers of like the yips head case, whatever you want to say. But Ranger Suarez was the piggyback. Ranger Suarez really did not have any cachet before then. He was not very successful across 2018, 19, and 20. But he did a great job as the piggyback for the 6, 7 times that they tried it. It was great. Yeah, and he went 4 shutout, 5 innings, 1 run. He really kind of won the Phillies a lot of games. Then it comes to the point where they need a closer, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to make Ranger Suarez the closer in 2021. And Ranger Suarez steps in. He becomes the closer, and all of a sudden he gets 4 saves, including one. And this was when the Phillies were all dying because nobody was vaccinated, and the COVID protocol meant that anybody that wasn't vaccinated had to get contact traced out. So it was like the B team of the Phillies out there, pretty much. And Ranger Suarez come and he got a big save against the Red Sox, and it was like the bases loaded and 1 out, and he got out of it in like a very dramatic way. That game's always gonna stick out to me. And then he becomes a starter at the end of the year. And he finishes the year with a 136 ERA across 106 innings, 3 different roles. Um, that year was incredible. 5.6 WAR for him across that 106 innings. Like, what a season.
Yeah, no, and because I like following him in the minors, so like, it was just he was a really good uh, pitching prospect. It's just always just hilarious, like how they don't know how to evaluate pitchers in the minors. He had uh, in 101 games in the minors, ERA of 289. Like he was a stud in the minors for us, but never a top 100 prospect.
Yeah, I mean you're totally right. Another thing that was funny when he started a game in 2018, he was the first left-handed starter to pitch for the Phillies in multiple years, which is crazy. Since Adam Morgan in 2016. So crazy how times
Oh
change. When you look at
yeah,
last year, and we had Sanchez, Suarez, Luzardo, and we were pretty much throwing out lefties every single day. It felt like.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, in 2021. Before that, he started 3 in 2018. Did no one start in? Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that funny stat.
Yeah, so gonna miss Ranger Suarez. But I think you would probably agree with this. We all knew this was gonna happen. There really wasn't a place for Ranger Suarez anymore. But wish him good luck in Boston. Glad he's not going to be in the division, and hopefully he gets to start a game when the Red Sox make their next trip to Citizens Bank Park in 2027.
Yeah, no, no, it's the perfect place for him to go. For it's like, okay, Rudy get the Yankees, good. He's not in the NL, so we don't face him that much. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
One more reason to hope there is a 2027 season so we can welcome Ranger Suarez back and not wait until 2029, um, which would be sad. Um, One thing that also sticks out to me with this Ranger Suarez thing, one thing that people haven't been talking about is how if the Phillies do just run it back, and right now there's a big debate, will they, won't they sign Bo Bichette? If they do not sign Bo Bichette, their team is going to be worse next year than they were this year, just because of the loss of Ranger Suarez. You're losing a guy that had 4.7 WAR last year, is averaging 3 WAR a year, like we talked about, and there is no plan to replace it. If they just bring back JT, then the big changes that the Phillies have made, pretty much bringing in Adolis Garcia, and then whatever like Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter do. Um, they are in a position where they very well could lose more in the offseason than they gain.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not enough of the subtraction that we want so far yet.
Yeah. I have a little bit of an exercise that I want to do. I want to get your opinion on this. Because recently there were like over unders that came out for like win totals for 2026. I think the Phillies were at like 92.5 or something like that. I think is the over under win total for the Phillies. Yep, 92.5 is the win total that is set for the Phillies. Presumably that's going to go up if Bo Bichette signs. Um, would you take the over or the under on that if the Phillies run it back and they get Romito and that's their offseason pretty much?
Ugh. I take the over. Still, the Mets don't get. The Mets have not improved at all. Like they got. Have they signed any starting yet? Am I forgetting someone?
Not really.
Like
No,
the Mets,
who
yeah,
knows what they're
the Mets
doing?
pitching is just pitching has gotten worse. Realistically, McLean's not going to be the next Degrom. I'm sorry. He's really good, but there's no way he's going to keep that up. Uh, and then the Braves have done jack shit. Uh, Marlins have just gotten rid of everyone more. So they got rid of two of their better pitchers. So I think our division's still wide open. So what we've lost compared to the division's gain is not anything to me.
It's a bad division. You're totally right about
Yeah.
that. I mean, it might actually be the worst division in baseball, which is crazy
No.
to say.
No.
It might be. It's not the NL West. The NL West is better. You have way more competitors in the NL
Yeah,
West.
yeah, but the AL Central still exists.
I think that the AL Central right now is potentially better than the NL East. I think at least there's a discussion to be had about that.
Yeah, but the thing that the NL East has a higher ceiling than the AL Central there's no high ceiling.
I guess. I mean, I feel like, any one of these years you could theoretically see like the Guardians break through. The Royals have enough young talent. They're just pitching is not great. I think that you could maybe say that the Phillies are better than any team in the AL Central, but I think there's a very real chance that the other four teams in the NL East next year are all like below average teams. And I don't think the Phillies are certainly going to be, the greatest team of all time either in 2026 for what it's worth.
Yeah, 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 but hopefully we don't run it back, and hopefully there's changes coming.
Yeah. But here's what I was kind of going out with the over under. I'm not a sports bettor. I don't really condone sports betting. It's kind of stupid. But if I had to put a bet on that, I would bet on the under in a pretty strong way right now if they do just run it back. So here's my logic for it, okay? And I want to know what you think about this, Jeremy. So you take the record that they had last year, 96 and 66, but their Pythagorean win-loss record, which kind of just takes the runs that they scored versus the runs that they allowed. It says that they overperformed a little bit, and that on average they would probably be a 94 and 68 win team. So let's just start there. I think that that's a better representation of what the team really was. 94 and 68, still really good. Zach Wheeler is going to miss an indeterminate amount of time. I think we're hoping that it's only going to be a couple months, and maybe he comes back towards the end of May or something like that. But it could be longer, right? He could miss half of the season. He could miss more than half of the season. There's a lot of uncertainty with that. But let's say he's missing a couple months, a third of the season. You're losing a couple WAR there. So call it 2.5 WAR. Then you have all these guys that are aging. You got Schwarber, JT, Harper, Turner, everybody else on this team that's kind of just getting older, and you have to project some regression in there. So say that you take away 10% of their WAR, which would still make Bryce Harper a good player. If he lost 10% of his WAR, he's still an above average first baseman. Even if you look at his 2025, if you take 10% off of his 2024, still very good. But just average it out, take 10% of that WAR away, you lose a couple more WAR. You can add some. I think Nola's probably not going to have a disaster season like he had in 2025, so you can add some there. You can add, maybe 1 WAR, 2 WAR for the young guys. Whatever you get from Crawford and Painter and Miller if we see him. I feel like you can't put too high of expectations on them. And then subtract the WAR that Ranger got you, right? He averaged, like I said, 3 WAR a year, but last year was a little bit of an overperformance to that, where he provided you 4.7. And I think that I'm at around like 85 or 86 wins with like that rough math for this team. I would set the over-under for the Phillies at 85.5 wins if they just run it back.
I would take the over.
And to be fair, 85 wins, 86 wins, that could still be good enough to win the NL East next year.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. But it could be good enough for a wild card too.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Tough. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure if the Phillies do sign Bo Bichette, which we'll get into now, that would change a lot of things.
Wait. Before we go into Bichette, I don't think we talked about Max Kepler getting busted for steroids. Did we? I think we did.
I think we did, right?
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, I think you're right.
For anybody that didn't
Yeah,
listen to the last episode.
I can't remember what we talked about last time. Jeez. Yeah, but if we had it, still hilarious. Okay, moving on.
It's genuinely hilarious. But the other thing about it is it's like a little bit concerning that we've had 2 players busted for PEDs in the last year, and then Bryce Harper's out here talking about EBOO on his Instagram. Not great. Not a great feeling. But Max Kepler, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
But The other big change that we saw across the league's landscape over the last couple of days, Alex Bregman. Alex Bregman has signed a contract with the Cubs. I think this is something that kind of came out of nowhere. 5 years, 175 million. So that's $35 million a year for Alex Bregman, with a full no trade clause as well. Not that I don't think anybody would want to trade for him with that contract. And there is some deferred money. About 70 million of that is deferred. So actually, the net present value of it is in the 30 to 31 million-dollar range. What do you make of Alex Bregman going to the Cubs, and then how do you think this shapes Bichette's market?
One, it's hilarious that the Red Sox only didn't get him because they were afraid to go no trade clause with him. Like, that's so ridiculous. Uh, like he was willing half for third base. It just makes I don't understand. Like, you back up the no trade clause, but then you give 5 years to Ranger. Like, oh man. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Bregman's like, yeah, he's older. He wants to stop moving his kids around and to be able to stay someplace. So that makes perfect sense. That one no trade clause when you're a veteran, stuff like that. And no trade clause. It really like a player is not going to not waive the no trade clause if it's not going to go to like a bad situation.
Right.
Like the last no trade clause that what I remember that was refused was Giancarlo Stanton was to the Cardinals. That was refused. He didn't want to go there. But usually they usually waive it.
They usually do, but my question, I actually don't know the answer to this at all. Do you think there's a lot of times where things get refused and we just don't find out?
Yeah, for minor players, but it's like you only hear about the bigger players is that stuff. I mean, also, I mean, there were 10-5 rights. You've been in the league for 10 years, 5 years, same team. You automatically get a full no trade clause. So, like Harper, I don't know, like I don't know if we gave Harper a full no trade clause, but he has one now.
Yes. Yeah. He has the 10-5 rights and everything at this point that guarantees him the no trade clause. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But my takeaway from the Bregman thing, again, this is now kind of changed with the signing of Ranger Suarez. Because at first I was like, this is not good for the odds that Bo Bichette's going to go to the Phillies because the Cubs.
No, yeah, that's why I'm. Yeah. They spent 130 a Ranger, and for some reason Henry, the Red Sox owner, is a cheap piece of shit now. So do they not get Bichette? Do they even try to go for Bichette now? I mean, because Bichette can't play third. Everything I've read is he can't play third.
His arm is probably not strong enough. But
well,
the Cubs,
his arm is strong enough, and it's just his fielding ability.
Right. Well, the fielding ability, like what I would say, like I'm pretty sure playing second base is harder than playing third base. I know that like not everybody agrees with that, but I don't believe that. I think second base is a harder position. At least for me personally, second base was a much harder position to play than third base was.
Yeah, but it's called the hot corner for a reason. The right-handed hitters will boom.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I could see that either way. That's fair. But with the Bregman signing, I was like, this is a new suitor for Bo Bichette because the Red Sox now can have all of this money and they can just give it to Bo Bichette, and that honestly might have been enough to get Bo Bichette because I think the perception was that he was going to get a slightly smaller contract than what Bregman got. But obviously, with that Ranger Suarez deal in Boston, you would think that probably takes the Red Sox out of contention for Bichette, right?
Yeah. So I think it's just going to be. I mean, he could be waiting on where Tucker goes because if Tucker like chooses the Mets, it's reported that they're off for 5 years, 3 years 50. But if he goes to the Blue Jays, then the Blue Jays won't have money to spend on Bichette realistically.
Yeah,
they still might. They mean their owner is Rogers. Rogers is, if you don't know, like owns Canada basically.
they're the like Verizon plus Comcast combined.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. Verizon plus Comcast and still bigger.
Yeah, that's true. Add Spectrum in there too.
Yeah, plus ESPN basically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Yeah. So what else do we know about Bichette's market? We know that the Dodgers are out there lingering with like their typical high AAV but low in years contract. It seems like the Phillies are maybe taking the opposite side of that, according to Matt Gill's reporting, with more years and a lower AAV. And then I think it was thought that like the Red Sox and any other interested teams would be kind of in the middle of that, kind of in the middle of both of those tiers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of every so like yeah, the Jays would have potentially Jays, the Red Sox maybe still. Yankees, I wouldn't could throw out because like Volpe is terrible. Uh Dodgers, the idea of Ken out. Giants need a second baseman. They're going really hard, but they feel like they want to make a trade instead. Uh, yeah, I mean, it really seems like if Tucker goes to the Blue Jays, we're gonna get Buffett, like no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, yeah. So it does seem, based on some reporting earlier today, that the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes might be ending pretty soon. It's been reported that the Mets have like basically a 3-year, $150 million deal on the table for Tucker. But Tucker is apparently wanting more years, more term, and apparently he does potentially have a contract on the table for more than $300 million with the Blue Jays. Um, but we'll see. Um, what are you giving a percentage odd from DMGD 2? How likely is it that the Phillies get Bo Bichette?
Uh 60-40 in our favor.
I'm I am close to that. I'm at probably 52-48. A very, very slight tilt to the Phillies. Now, people are going to be let down if they don't get him, right? Like, this fan base is going to melt down if the Phillies don't sign Bo Bichette at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that I'm not really an NBA fan. I just know the general apathy that people have for the Sixers, where it's kind of like the same thing every year, and the definition of insanity from Far Cry 3. Um, it feels
That's not from Far Cry 3.
well. It's not the definition of insanity is not, but that's what Voss said in Far Cry 3. He had that like nice speech, and it's one of the things people know Far Cry 3 for.
Yeah,
Great game.
no.
Yes, I know that that is not where that comes from, but I think it's what like it's a cultural reference here on the inside our
It's Albert
podcast.
Einstein. Like, come on.
It's Far Cry 3 is a great game, and I was thinking about and hoping that Far Cry 7 comes out soon
I'm sorry,
this
audience.
week.
We're usually a highly intellectual podcast, and I'm sorry for the slop that's being thrown in here.
We apologize. But no, I think the Phillies are going to have their fans turn against them if they don't sign Bo Bichette, and I think it's going to have the potential to get really ugly. And I think that with the way that they've increased the ticket prices over the last couple of years, and it's only worse this year, um, I think you're going to have people just stay home more than ever. If maybe not more than ever, but more than they have in the last few years, if the Phillies turn out to not sign Bo Bichette, and they're gonna have to be on boo alert very early on in the season.
Yeah, and then DMG Dude 2 also asks, what version of Adolis will the Phillies get / do you guys believe in him? I believe we will have decent fielding in right field, and he will hit 230, who knows with an on-base percentage of 300, and hopefully 20 home runs.
That's pretty much exactly where I'm at. Give me like a 2.5 WAR season from Adolis Garcia, which for what we're paying him, great. It's gonna be so much better than Nick Castellanos. Nick Castellanos is pretty much a negative player in right field, so that's like a really like a 3 WAR improvement.
Well, because the thing is, we don't need consistent offense from him. We need consistent offense from Turner, Schwarber, and Harper.
Right. Well, you kind of do. If you don't get Bichette, you kind of do need consistent offense from him because you're gonna have a lot of places that you aren't necessarily getting offense from, right? Like center field has the potential to be a black hole depending on how Crawford handles major league pitching. Alec Boehm, he's pretty much a black hole. Stock could be a black hole. Romuto is kind of half cooked if he comes back, and if it's not Realmuto, we're probably not going to have a catcher that hits any better than him. I think it's important to get some production out of the corner outfield. I think there's a lot of pressure on Marsh and Adolis to provide at least some of that in 26.
Yeah, and then we have other questions from Shisui. We already talked about the Ranger contract, how our thoughts on it, and do you feel JT deserves more or less than 3 years on a new contract? And then John Heyman apparently confirms a couple hours ago that JT was offered a 3-year deal by us and is holding up for more money. And he does not deserve more than a 3-year deal. And he does not deserve more money than we're offering him. He's 35 years old. His offense has cratered. His approach, it's not like his contact is. His approach is the problem. He hits the ball hard, everything. His approach is terrible now. No idea why. Maybe he thinks he has to react more to his age or something. I have no idea. But the dude can't walk anymore. Swings at, like, Castellanos outside the zone. And like, I love JT, everything, but I'm not going to give him more money than the Phillies. I'm sure the Phillies offer him a very fair deal by the fact that no one else has offered him enough more money to sign. The fact he's still available means we're not the only ones.
I kind of think 3 years is too much, right? Like 3 years to Realmuto.
3 years is fine because like the last year, you hopefully you could be like backup or something, like whatever.
If it's an option, sure, have a 30-year option all you want and give him a buyout of a couple $1 million, whatever. Like a third guaranteed year, I don't think I'd give JT that.
I give it an easy vesting based on health.
Sure.
Yeah, but then do you believe Andrew Painter starts opening week? I believe he'll start when we need a fifth starter. Whenever that, so it's because you can always finagle and maneuver shit around the first couple weeks.
They're not going to go. I don't think they're going to mess with the route. I think they're going to just keep it straight through and give people.
I always find that fascinating that they're like so worried, like they give so many off days in April when it really should be more off days in September. Like,
I know.
Give a shit about the weather and stuff. Like, that's what it's much easier to plan it when it have for makeup teas later than it is. It's just so bizarre. Yeah, and then besides Bo Bichette, are there any positions the Phillies to get, whether it be bullpen arm, whether starting pitcher or potential third baseman? So I threw this out here. My dad agrees with me that's a good idea. I mean, it's all depending on the Cardinals, but they get rid of Arenado. If we get Bichette, I would offer Bohm for Jojo Romero, and maybe we should give him a little something more too. But I think I want Jojo back. I was sad when we traded him. I knew he had the potential to be what he is. Also, has actually been great for us. So hindsight, yes, but I want JoJo back, and that'd be perfect trade. They have a third base prospect who might not be right. Like maybe they feel like maybe more time, maybe easy man. Gives them somewhat of a decent floor, replaceable player. I just think it makes a perfect sense that now they have a third base hole, and they have a first base hole too. They got rid of Contreras, so I think Bohm to Cardinals makes pretty good sense.
It does, but the Cardinals aren't trying to compete, right? So if they're not trying to compete,
so what? Yeah.
Then why would they want a guy out an expiring deal?
Because it gives them time to deal with it. Just plug a hole. Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see the Phillies kind of get some depth in their rotation still. Like give me really there's any number of guys that I think would be perfectly fine. If I had to pick one of the free agents that's left that I have a particular interest in, give me like Martin Perez. I always think Martin Perez has been a pretty good pitcher. He had that great year in 23, 22. And he's been like fairly consistent since then. Although he didn't pitch a ton last year. But
I mean, I always think of him as a disappointment because he was supposed to be the stud, and it's just been okay.
Yeah. I don't know, but if you get him for like $5 million or whatever, just as like some depth.
He'd be fine. But I don't know. But more often, I mean, he had home run prone, and I don't know. He could be terrible with us. But anyway, also we just looking back last year, the Royals chose Jonathan India for Singer. I mean, the Reds chose Jonathan Singer. The Reds chose Jonathan India for Brady Singer instead of Bohm for Brady Singer.
Yeah, and we have a new guest on the podcast. We have
What's up, guys?
metssuck joining. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
It's going well. We are kind of running through some questions, but I think what everyone's going to be the most curious about.
No, the Royals. Geez, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Royals chose Jonathan India for Brady Singer instead of Bohm. Bohm would have been way better for them. Jonathan India sucks.
Jonathan India disappointed my fantasy team last year. But metssuck, like, what's your take on this Bichette thing? Like, tell me a little bit about what you think about it. How disappointed you'd be if it didn't work out. And at the end of the day, give us a percentage of the odds that you think he does sign with the Phillies.
All right. So I literally made sure to jump on because I'm heading out of the country tomorrow and I'm on business travel for the all of next week. So if they do sign him, I won't be able to join. And I had to get my voices out of how excited I am to have him on the team. So if we don't sign him, if this is all a plot just to get JT back, and I love JT, if that's all we end up doing out of this, I will be crushed. They got my hopes up. After Sunday and that abysmal performance in the link, I need something, and the whole city needs something, and they've got us excited. And the Red Sox just took themselves out of it. It's right there. Go get them, make it happen.
This is a podcast that does not support the Eagles. We are an NFC West podcast.
Screw that.
It is pretty funny how we go Rams,
go Hawks. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the only I would be okay with the Rams winning. I am not excited about any of the other three choices in the NFC. Otherwise, my choice is the AFC.
I think. I mean, not to turn this into a football podcast, but I mean, it being like new teams that are in the playoffs this year for the most part. Oh my god, it's so exciting. The Eagles aren't going to be in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs aren't going to be there. The Lions aren't in the playoffs. Like, things feel so fresh, right? Like, I never thought the Patriots being a Super Bowl contender would feel fresh, but it does.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, we're talking. I'm sorry I derailed you all, but
no, we're pretty much at the end, so it's fine.
Okay, yeah, no, I would love to see the Bills finally win it now that we're out and we can't be the one that loses to them. I don't want to be the NFC team that loses to the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's just me.
That's a bad omen for whatever you have going on with your team. I don't know. Yeah. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Well, we have you. Who's winning it?
I think the Rams are the best team in the NFC. And then I don't know enough about the AFC, but I would say give me Buffalo. I mean, they just seem to pull games out this year. And this is, if he's ever going to win the Super Bowl, it's this year with no Lamar, with no Mahomes, with no Burrow, with I mean, there's nobody in the NFC that's a worry yet. So from a quarterback standpoint, yeah, it's got to be his year. And I also have a really good friend who wants to win. He's a Bills fan, and he's a Mets fan, so I at least want to be a little bit happy in his life.
Bills are so much more likable than the Mets, that's for sure.
They're way more likable.
Who do you have winning the Super Bowl this year?
I don't know. The Rams, duh.
Well,
yeah, that's an easy choice.
I think they have a good chance.
Are you not going to pick the Seahawks? Are you not going to pick the Seahawks?
I mean, I think that this is going to be like Super Bowl 48, where whoever the NFC
No. Your team is still in the playoff. Therefore, you're
There's only one answer to that question. Yeah,
it is a core part. It is a core part of my nature that I am like objective and I take out the emotions from.
Yeah, because you're a Phillies fan, and we never have hope, and we always surprised when we win.
I think the Seahawks have the best chance. If you want to say like who's going to have the best chance, I think it's the Seahawks. Because I think that home field, I think that the Rams and the Seahawks are like a class above like every other team this year. I think that they're going to meet up in the NFC Championship just like the Seahawks and 49ers did back before Super Bowl 48. And whoever wins that game is just going to kill whoever comes out of the AFC. That's what I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
But
so to go back to the question, right? With if I don't know how the team gets this city excited about the team at this point without signing Bichette.
Oh yeah,
it's. I think too much has come out, and again, the Red Sox took themselves out of it today. And
hopefully, you never know.
Wow, that's why the Red Sox fans in my life are. They say that they're shocked they spent even this much money. So So they don't expect to spend money, at least, let's put it that way. I don't know. I just want. I'm ready to buy my Bichette jersey.
I think I would buy one. Like, I haven't been excited about the Phillies, to be honest with you, in like a couple of years. Like, things have felt incredibly stale. Like, the point that I think people are at now with feeling that things are stale, I kind of got to before this past 2025 season. I would get like a cream Bichette jersey, I think, like right away, or maybe I'd wait until the game in Iowa, and I'd buy one of the Field of Dream jerseys with Bichette. Now you have me wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I'd wait till I find them on sale somewhere, but I would definitely be getting the powder blue pretty quickly.
I'm just hoping that the next City Connect will incorporate the Fanatic.
It has to, right? It has to.
And that's next year, the next City Connect?
Yes.
Right? It's 27.
It's every 3 years. So yeah. So like the Red Sox got the nice green wall and stuff like that. The Green Monster. So hopefully we get Fanatic style.
Yeah.
I like our Connect style, but I do think it can be massively improved.
It's okay. I don't hate it as much as I originally did. I'm a big jersey collector. I'm sure some of you
I just hate the font at this point. I love the hat.
I don't like the font. I don't like the font, but I can tell you, my 11-year-old's just begging me for a new Kyle Schwarber City Connect jersey.
I think you mentioned that on this before. It's pretty cool.
That's all. I wouldn't buy her one until the signing happened, and then I couldn't find a City Connect Schwarber in her side anywhere actually online, and I don't live in Philly, so I couldn't go to the ballpark and just have them make one for me. Because I was going to get her one for Christmas, and I told her at Christmas, I said, "Okay, this also comes with a jersey when I can find it." So, if anybody knows where you can get a woman's small City Connect Schwarber jersey, let me know.
Yeah,
tell me to go to the ballpark, and I'll go there for you.
I'll try you.
Or you could save. I mean, there are ways that I've bought my jerseys lately that are.
Well,
better.
I don't buy knockoffs.
Are you a fake jersey supporter, Jeremy?
I'm a supporter of not supporting Fanatics bullshit prices.
Oh my god.
And quality.
This might be what breaks this podcast apart. I mean, I don't like Fanatics sucks, but I am a gigantic jersey collector. Let me put some
I have legit all my Rams jerseys are legit. I have one legit Phillies one, and my and for my birthday on the way is for my dad is a Sharks Michael Misa jersey because my cat's name is Misa. So I have more real ones than fake ones, but the jersey quality for baseball is garbage.
If you get you want to know my secret? This is my secret, and I'm worried a little bit about letting this out. Okay.
Well, we can wait till we stop recording and share that. I mean, we can hold some things back.
Well, okay. Let me send you these pictures. These are pictures of my jersey collection. The first picture, it's all of my Phillies and LA Kings jerseys. You got to look at like the hangers because like the fabric doesn't really make it seem like as crazy as it is. And the second is all of my other sports jerseys. I have an unhealthy collection of jerseys, and if I had a fake jersey, I would be distraught. I care very.
So I have a fake jersey. I bought it 15 years ago off of eBay. It was sold as real, and I was like, whatever. It was a black holiday jersey. And it is so bad. I'm just embarrassed by it. I actually keep it just to remind myself never to buy a fake jersey ever again.
You got to have the real ones. And okay, I'll say it after the podcast. And if anybody wants to know my secret, I will let them know. Just reach out to me on Discord.
Well, I'm really sorry I kind of came in and derailed your conversations. What other Phillies topics? Any other Phillies topics we could talk about? You guys talk Hall of Fame? You guys talk Hall of Fame?
We did.
No, that hasn't been decided yet.
We haven't had.
So with voting now, let me pull up the Hall of Fame tracker. Who do you think? So who do you think is going to be our highest guy, and who's going to be, and where's Cole going to come in? Really, is my question.
Cole's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but
I don't think so. No. Just to be clear, I don't think any of our three guys get elected this year. But where do you have Cole on there? Like, what percentage do you think he gets? So
30.
for reference, he's at 32.4 right now. Chase is at 69.1 and Jimmy's at 23.9.
I think Cole ends like 30, 25 to 30, somewhere in that range. I think that the older voters are going to like him more than people think because of the World Series MVP, if I had to take a guess.
Is that why K-Rod is only at 12.2%, despite all having almost identical numbers?
K-Rod to Cole Hamels?
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking at the wrong name. Sorry. No, K-Rod's at 59%. Okay, so that's better.
I mean, are you
Felix
talking about like
Hernandez.
Mark Burley? Is that who you're talking
No, I'm
about?
talking Felix Hernandez.
Oh, Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, I was on the wrong column when I said the
Felix,
number. He's
I
what's his
don't get the
nickname?
Felix
K-Rod?
Hernandez argument. No, Felix Hernandez is the king.
The
King
King.
Felix.
Okay, who was K? Oh, K-Rod was the closer. That's right.
Yeah.
The Angels closer. Okay, that's what I'm. Okay. It's been a long day. I just got off a work call to join this. You don't get the King argument.
King Felix should be in.
I think he's a slam dunk. That's why I'm confused.
Like it's not his fault. Like his last year was terrible.
Right. I'm sure, Joe. Why do you say you don't get the argument?
I think that his argument is quite a bit weaker than Chase Utley's, and I don't think Chase Utley's he's gonna get in, but he's not like inner circle guy or anything like that. The argument for Chase Utley is the peak, and his peak was crazy, right? He had 5 years in a row of at least 7.3 WAR, incredible peak. All of those years are better than Felix Hernandez's best season, which was a Cy Young. Obviously that's an incredible award to have, and the WAR totals like 15 WAR below Chase Utley's career WAR total. I have a hard time because his peak I think is a little bit overrated. And then he just didn't have the longevity.
You were too young to remember.
So go ahead, Jeremy. You school him.
Yeah, no, yeah, because it's really around the time like King Felix was done, like hit the 200 plus innings constantly, and like he was used so much, like his arm fell off. Like that's why he ended at 33. Like he just couldn't stick. But like his peak, no, King Felix should have had more than one Cy Young.
Yes. Like I can tell you what, ESPN, if anybody who had a chance to put a Mariners game on national TV, if Felix was pitching, they would do it.
Yep.
If I heard we were facing King Felix tonight, I'd watch the game, but I'd expect to get our ass kicked.
I love Felix Hernandez. Probably my favorite Phillies trip I ever made was in 2011. I'm a Seahawks fan. People know that. In 2011, I went out to see the Phillies in Seattle with my family. We went to the whole game. Ichiro is my favorite baseball player of all time. He was then too. I got to see Ichiro in person for the first time because he never had interleague games. It was super rare that the Phillies were playing in Seattle. I toured at the point. It was called Quest Field. It was awesome. It was so fun. But the highlight of that entire trip to me was seeing a Felix Hernandez start because they had the King's Court out there in left field towards the foul pole where everybody wore this bright yellow shirt. It is one of the all-time favorite baseball games that I've been to. I loved Felix Hernandez. He might get my vote, but I think that his case is overrated. I think he's a guy that should take 7 years to get in or something like that, not the 3 or 4 it's going to take.
This is 2. He won't get in this year, so it'll be at least 3. I don't know, man. You can't tell the story of the 2010s baseball without King Felix.
That's the
way I
NFL
look
Hall
at
of Fame argument.
Well, I'm a big Hall guy, so that's the other thing, right? But it's the right argument, in my opinion, right? It's a museum. If I take my kids, that's the thing that kills me about guys like Dale Murphy, and as much as I didn't like him as a player, Don Mattingly, and all that, why they're not in the playoffs, because you can't tell the story of the 80s and early 90s without those guys. If you can't tell the full baseball story without them, just because they were on teams that did not get to the playoffs. Because if they had gotten a couple playoff moments, they would have probably their numbers would have been good enough to get them over the hump. They would have the Utley argument that we have, or the Cole Hamels argument you were just making, right? They'd have that there.
I think it's an argument that people are going to make for Cole Hamels. I don't actually think the World Series MVP should count for that much. Because if
it shouldn't count for a ton. It shouldn't count for a ton, but it definitely should count.
It counts for something, right? It's like the equivalent of maybe having like a no-hitter. Like it's like a cool thing, but not something that gets you over the hump. Just like, oh, it's like a cool moment that we can think about and that we remember fondly.
Yeah, I think it's something that should be considered. Maybe not high consideration, but definitely deserves some.
Yeah, I get it.
So we think we're gonna finish. I think we're gonna finish Chase, Cole, and Jimmy in that order, and then I think Chase probably gets in next year or the year after.
At this point, I'm with you. Yeah, Chase Utley.
I mean, he's trending
probably 50-50 for next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he can get 80% of the remaining votes, which he's not going to, but if he could, he's in this year. And so you can't tell me that he's not in line for next year. I'll feel better when I see Andrew Jones go in and Carlos Beltran go in this year with the same, bump up. But okay, that's the Hall of Fame. I was curious what your thoughts were.
Anybody else have anything about anything?
Yeah, well, nothing. Thanks for letting me join in. Thanks for letting me crash.
Yeah. Stay tuned because I am going to let you know my secret for jerseys. But
I can't wait.
For everybody else, I will talk to you all real soon. If you want the secret, reach out to me. I'll give it to you. Just making you work a little bit for it. But yep, I will talk to you all real soon. Hopefully we have an emergency podcast coming up shortly. And have a great one. Go Phils.